I am from Canonical and I work as a support engineer there. So today we will be looking into the title is how to manage Ubuntu systems in air-gapped environments, but then it's just not that. We will look into like lab setups and so my main thinking was I will set up a presentation that will be helpful for students and newcomers and everyone, so they can like set up labs and then home labs. So after this talk, you will be it will be easy for you to like set up home labs with the things I am going to talk about. So yeah, let's start then. So yeah, first disclaimer. So no one size fits all. So what works for you works for you good. And then I'm not a sysadministrator or I'm not a DevOps engineer. So I'm not going to like lay out rules to like how to manage Ubuntu systems in air-gapped environment. So it's not what we will be doing, but I'm sharing my experience with supported Linux infrastructure in Canonical. So I have highlighted supported. So what I exactly mean by supported is if you click on that hyperlink, you will go to a blog that says what Linux support is, because I regularly get those questions. What do you do as a Linux support engineer? Are you just a help desk, or do you like fix any issues, or do you like code? So if you go there, you will get an idea of what Linux support engineer does in Canonical mainly. And then what I mean by supported is, so regularly people ask me like, my Ubuntu machine consumes lots of memory, my Ubuntu laptop has a draining problem of battery, or let's say NVIDIA does not work, I have lockout issues, etc. So as a production environment, what we focus in is a set of specific infrastructure, because we can't fix all the issues. So we have like guidelines that you have to use this kind of infrastructure and packages so that we can like test and then fix those issues. So if you like go to this, let's just look into it. So the presentation will be more hands-on. So I will be going everywhere, documentation, scripts, and everything. So it won't be just talk. So yeah. So if you like go to Ubuntu Pro description, if you search Ubuntu Pro description in Google, you will get this file where it's written what is the scope of support of Canonical. So we have like all the rules, like what exactly is supported, what is not supported. Let's say like if you have KDE in Ubuntu, we don't support it because KDE is community flavor and we only support GNOME. So if you have any issues in KDE, then Canonical support is not like meant to fix that issue. So that's what I meant by supported Linux infrastructure. Yeah. So yeah, that's why it's not going to be a sysadmin type of talk. It's more of my experience with Linux infrastructure in Canonical. Okay, presentation mode. Yeah, agenda. So a bit of intro and then lab setup walkthrough, again lab setups, and then feature walkthrough from UI, and then we will have a bit more Q&A. I wanted to do more Q&A because it will be something new. I think landscape is something new for all of you. So because you all will have a UI in your laptop after the setup is complete, hopefully. So I am thinking we will do more Q&A at last. Okay. So the general user versus enterprise reality. So how many of you right here have Ubuntu Pro? How many of you have used Ubuntu Pro? So how many of you know that Pro is free for up to 5 machines? Okay. So yeah. So I didn't expect that people would not know that. I thought everyone would know that, but then that was a bit reality check for me. So yeah, as a general user, when we are using Ubuntu, we just use it for normal things in college or let's say in office to do just normal things. But in infrastructure, it gets very complicated. You have to like set up production environments, you have to set up staging environments, you have to you have to take care of compliance needs and audits, and then it's more, it's very scalable things. So as you see here, as a general user, I would only focus on apt update and apt upgrade. So I would not need to run any commands or staging environments or repository hosting, etc. But in enterprise, it's like very different. So basically, that's what I wanted to talk about, that in the general user versus enterprise reality. Okay, so challenges. Since today's talk is about air-gapped environment, we will focus a bit more on air-gapped environment. If you don't know what air-gapped environment is, it's like network restricted Linux infrastructures, because network is like main point of attack from outside external. So if you like restrict your environment, so you have like high chances of securing your network even if there's still vulnerabilities lying around those machines. So there's another thing called militarized zone, DMZ, we call it DMZ. So it's like totally isolated networks, but then air-gapped environments, they can be like connected to internet sometimes when it requires, like let's say with VPN or with proxy, etc. So air-gapped is not totally restricted, but it is restricted at some amounts. So normally customer environments use lots of air-gapped environments. They don't want their servers or computing powers to be exposed to the world. So they have to like use air-gapped environments, and they face lots of issues with air-gapped environments. So the main problems I have laid down here that I thought was like monitoring machines at scale. So we have some things like Prometheus, Grafana, and there's COS, Canonical Observability Stack. You might have heard about that in last talk about, I don't know. But you can click on that hyperlink and you can look around what exactly I mean by COS. I won't be talking about COS. So COS works on top of Zuzu. So we had a talk on Zuzu also last time. So it's something that Canonical provides for like observability thing. And then manage multiple policies for different environment needs. Because in infrastructure, all the machines are not identical. Everyone has different kind of like use cases. So you have to also have different kind of configurations and policies for all kinds of machines. And then it gets very like complicated when you have to manage different things. So you have to like lay down, I will do this thing for this, I will do this thing for this. And when you are going to automate it, it gets very tricky. So that's one challenge that people face. And then most important challenge is security and compliance. Normally in European and American customers, compliance and security is like very important thing because government restricts lots of things. If you don't follow those things, then you have to like face legal charges and etc. So for security and compliance also, there are some open source tools, and then people normally do scripting, unattended upgrades, etc. And then another thing is remote access, because you need to change some things, you need to fix something. So remote access is always needed. Okay. So yeah, so how does landscape comes in all of this? So I said I'm going to talk about managing systems in air-gapped environments, but I'm more of focusing on landscape in this talk because landscape solves all those problems. It's like all-in-one solution for all those problems in air-gapped environment. So as the docs mentions, so I have tried to like keep every reference in those slides instead of putting it in the last slide, so that it will be easier for you to like go and then look into documentation. So this is like definition of landscape from documentation also. Landscape is a product in Canonical that we use to basically manage multiple machines. So it's not a SIEM or UEVL kind of thing. It's like monitoring and management tool, which is used to like automate security patching, auditing like CS, DSIA, STIZ, and then compliance needs, and then it also has other kind of features that we will be looking into later. So it's a tool that customers use to like manage their infrastructure in air-gapped environments and then it's like self-hosted, so it's a server, it's not just a package or anything. So we will be creating it later. Okay, so first I thought when you register for this event, you would all have like Ubuntu One account, and then all of you would have Pro tokens. But then I heard some of you guys are coming from some offices, and then they were like directly given passes. So maybe some of you don't have Pro tokens. So how many of you don't have Pro tokens right now? Yeah. So first thing we need to do is set up a Pro token. I didn't think about this. I thought all of you would have. So what I want you to do is, I want you to go to, it will be easy, it will be quite quick, it's not too hard. So just go to login.ubuntu.com. So it's like absolutely needed for this workshop because recently Landscape switched the licensing model to just Pro. Earlier it was having legacy seats also, so it will be easier just to register machines, but now it requires Pro tokens. So I want you guys to all have Pro tokens. So basically what Ubuntu Pro is, Ubuntu Pro provides security patching for like extended period of time. Let's say we have Novel right now, LTS. LTS Novel provides security updates for 5 years for main repositories, and then after 5 years it's dropped. But customers don't want to like change their environments every 5 years to another LTS, so that will be harder for them. So what we provide is we provide Ubuntu Pro. With Ubuntu Pro, you would have 10 years of like 5 years more of extended security patching for main repository, and for universe you will get 5 years from starting. So we will be talking about more about what is main, what is universe that I am talking. But for now I want you to go and create an account here. You can click on I don't have an account, Ubuntu One account, and then you can just fill it here, and then I will talk about other things later. So just go through this first, and then let me know when you complete this. त्यसै हेर्दै यस्तो कसैको भएन हेर्दै यस्तो कसैको भएन त्यही यो चाहिँ पहिला सेटअप गरौँ अनि गरौँ न फास्ट त भएन नि फास्ट भइरह्यो ठिकै छ
क्वेसनहरू सोध्दा
त्यो ठिक पछि गर्नु के भन्छ अलिकति ट्रिप फ्लोमा
इन्टरेक्टिभ
त्यो अब सेटअपमा गरौँ न त्यस्तो के सुन्नु पनि भन्नु ठिकै छ तिमी त हेर मैले त हेर्छु नि त कसैको भयो कसैको भएको छैन कि इफ यु हेभ एनी प्रब्लम्स यु क्यान टेल ल ठिक छ यतिको मात्र म भन्छु है ओके सो यु वुड ह्याभ आफ्टर लगइन you would have got a dashboard. In dashboard in left side there is a SSH key option if you see there. So what I want you to do is if you have already a public key in your laptop then you can just copy it there, but if you don't have then you can run this command SSH key zen dash key so if you run this you will create a private key and public key in your laptop once the account is created. पछि त्यो आउँछ यो गर्नैपर्छ सो दिस इज लाइक म्यान्डेटरी स्टेप टु रेजिस्टर द थिङ्स इन ल्यान्डस्केप सो भर्चुअल मेसिन विल कम वी विल बी डुइङ एभ्रिथिङ इन भर्चुअल मेसिन वी वन्ट बी टेम्परिङ विथ युर होस्ट so once you have done this you can go inside that part and you will have an id rsa.pop file and then you can copy it and then save it in the ssh key section in the ui so that's necessary. Yeah, you can just copy that. If you have already then you can just copy that. If you don't have then this is the command to generate it. So once this is done, if everyone has done this, if anyone needs help you can ask sideways also. I want you to go to ubuntu.com/pro/dashboard and then log in there if you need to log in. So I need to log in, so you can log in there. I will also log in. Ubuntu.pro, ubuntu.com/pro/dashboard. Continue logging. That's sweet here. So you will get a UI like this if you go there, and then if you scroll a bit down you will get a pro token there. So once you have logged into Ubuntu Pro dashboard after this you will get a token there. I can't show my token, sorry, so it's like restricted. Don't show your token to anyone else because it never expires. भइरहेछ अपलोड गरे भयो यो सेभ भयो यो एसएसएस पब्लिक भयो अब चाहिँ ubuntu.com/pro/dashboard let's log me in. So you will have a token here. It's loading. Yeah, this is the token. सबैको भइरह्यो नि टोकन आयो नि हैन
मेरो त भयो कि दाइ मेरो खै यो के हो
टोकन आयो तिम्रो ल ठिक छ अब अगाडि भयो
आरसी की चाहिँ के को लागि
त्यो एसएसएस की चाहिन्छ के लन्च प्याडहरुमा मान्दैन के ओके आई होप you have reached this step. So everyone has reached this step, right? So you now have a port token, right? Is there anyone who has not? You can just ask sideways. Okay, then I will proceed now. So pro token is required. After that, you can, if you want in your host, you can enable it with sudo Pro attach that token and then no auto enable. You can do it, it's safe, it does not hamper anything, but if you don't want to do, it's not necessary right now. We will be doing this in VM, so it's not mandatory. Okay, so I thought if the network won't work, I will show you an offline installation. So hopefully we don't have to do this. So hopefully everything will work from the internet. So if it does not work, since it's air gap title, I had to like prepare offline installation also. So I have everything set up. So if network does not work, then we can go this route also later. But let's skip this route for now. Basically, if you want to know what I did is, I just ran sudo apt install -- download on the package name. So what it does is, it will download all the defs that it requires for that package inside var cas apt archives, and then you can just copy it and then send it to other machine and then install from there. So that was the basic idea of doing this. But then if network works, then we don't have to run this part, and then it will be easier to set up lab with online because I have created a script for that. So let's skip this part for now. Okay, so the main part is here, landscape quick start. So landscape has lots of ways how you can install it. You can take it all the ways in that documentation. You have like Zuzu, you have LXD, you have offline installation, you have manual installation, you have quick start installation. So other installations are normally used in production environment. For like testing environment, we use quick start because it's fast. It will do lots of things for you. You don't have to do things on yourself. So for this, what I want you to do is, so you clone the GitHub repository, right, that we had earlier. So if you go to that directory, UbuCon, this is not a directory. So you just need to run these two commands, lab setup. So this command, if you don't know much about Linux, this command will make the script executable so that you can execute that script. And then I want you to like set up lab setup.assets. So it says you need to require pro token. So you would have to like enter your pro token here. So do that, and then the lab will be set up automatically. So it should be set up automatically. If it does not, then we can look into it. I will also talk about what it's doing later on. But first, run this command. Pro token. So you have to pass the pro token there that you had earlier. Just a token only. So actually, token was not required earlier, but nowadays a pro token is mandatory for landscape. So that was the issue with this one. But then you can use this token forever in 5 machines. It's free. So you can use it in your home lab. You can use it in your personal laptop. It will provide security fixes for your laptop. So it's safe, and I would recommend you use pro tokens. You enable pro. So this will take some time because it has to like spawn VMs and install everything, Multipass, and then it has to like take the images, public images of the server. So we have like Novel and Zami servers. So it will like take 15 minutes almost. So what we will do in 15 minutes is we will look into like what's going on inside this script while it runs. Install
लाइसेन्स टोकन चाहिँ जेनेरेट गरेँ अब त्यो यो
अनि ठिकै छ जे स्क्रिप्ट रन गऱ्यो
डब्लुएसएलमा चल्छ
आई डोन्ट नो मैले ट्राई गरेको छैन है म डब्लुएसएल ट्राई गरेको छैन मेबी आई डोन्ट चलिरहेको होइन चलिरहेको टाइम लाग्छ चलिरहेको त्यही हो सबै आफै गरिदिन्छ त्यही हो तिमीलाई चाहिँ कमान्ड हान्नु दुःख हुन्छ भने म सबै अटोमेसन गरिदिएको त्यसैमा पछि हेरौँ न भइरहेको छ नि है फलो भइरहेको नि है भएन सिकाइदियो है
इन्स्टल गर्नु भन्दा थियो नि
हजुर
ल्यान्डस्केप के इन्स्टल गर्नु भन्दा थियो नि मेरो के साउन्ड भनेको थियो अनि इनेबल गर भनेर
तिमीले के भयो प्रो इनेबल ल्यान्डस्केप गर्नै पर्दैन
कहाँ छ होइन यो होइन
त्यो त गर्नै पर्दैन त्यो त मैले मिममा त दिएको हो क्या तिमीलाई गर भनेको होइन मैले त स्क्रिप्ट मात्र रन गरेर भनेको त्यो त यो टाइम लाग्छ भनेको क्या त्यो हजुर यही गर्ने यति हजुर मल्टिपास होइन यो त होस्टमै हान्ने हो होस्टमा मल्टिपास बनाउने हो नि त तिमीले त मल्टिपास भित्र नहान यो त होस्टमा हान्ने हो so that script was to be run in host, okay? So because in your host it will install Multipass, and in Multipass it will create VMs. So don't install it inside your VM. If you have VM, you can. Yeah?
मेरो चाहिँ स्टोरेज प्रब्लम भयो कि पुगेन यो क्यान आई लाइक युज आई अलरेडी हेभ अ VM अन द भर्चुअल बक्स आई क्यान जस्ट लिङ्क द्याट दिस
हुन्छ
द प्रो सफ्टवेयर राइट प्रो द्याट टोकन आई क्यान एड दिस
भिएममा गर्दा नि हुन्छ के हुँदैन त्यसमा गर्दा हुन्छ
भिएमभित्र गर्नु
मिल्छ
भिएममा भिएममा
मिल्छ नि मिल्छ भएन होइन होस्ट मल्टिपासले चाहिँ भिएमै बनाइदिन्छ अब भिएमभित्र नि भिएम बनाउँछु भन्छ भने तिम्रोमा नेक्स्टेड हुन्छ स्लो हुन्छ म्याकमा चाहिँ मल्टिपास चल्छ त्यही होस्टमै गर है हजुर केही भएर यो गर्नु पर्दैन नि खै
होइन मैले त त्यो तपाईँले भन्नुभएको जस्तो त्यो मात्र रन गरे हो त्यो रन गर्नु यो हामीहरू त्यति त हो नि
मल्टिपास क्यानोनिकल लन्चिङ ल्यान्डस्केप सबै नो लन्चिङ
त्यहाँदेखि यो कन्टिन्यू यो मात्र हानिरहेको छ
ल्यान्डस्केप सबै डज नट एक्जिस्ट रिमोट इज अननोन अर अनेबल रे पास
फेड त छ
मल्टिपास लन्चिङ ल्यान्डस्केप सबै नोल त रन गर्यो लन्च फेल्ड भयो भाइ लिस्ट इन्स्ट्रक्सै भनेको छैन त्यसमा त फेरि हान्दा नि हुन्छ यो
त्यो प्रोटोकलको पनि त्यही छ कम्प्युटर गरेर बनाएकै छ
फेरि नि हान्नु
के भएको हो अघि
खै लन्च भएन भन्छ किन लन्च भएन पनि
त्यो त मैले त हालेको
यो यहाँ चाहिँ रिमोट भेटाएन भन्छ यो चाहिँ भतिक्नु भएको थिएन अघि भएन खै होला के अब के भयो Okay, so while it works, I will move on. So this command was actually not to run. Someone ran this command. So this is actually what takes lots of time. So I just kept it as a main, not to run. Okay, so a bit of multipass. What's multipass? So multipass is just basically a VM. So in this Ubuntu conference, everyone has talked about LXD lots of times. So you might have heard lots of time LXD. It's quite similar to LXD. But it's a bit different in sense that it's more developer friendly, it's more lightweight, and it uses and it's like cross platform friendly. So it will work on Mac, it will work on Windows, it will work on Linux. If there's hypervisor, then it will work in any OS. So basically, as you see, if I run a multipass launch novel, name server name, CPUs, memory, disks, cloud landscape, then in the hood it's just running QEMU. So it's just running a virtual machine to like create the VMs. Yeah. Landscape server does not exist. Multipass मा चाहिँ यो फेरि हान है यो मल्टिपासै बने हैन किन एकचोटि
मल्टिपास नभनेर
कसै गर्ने हो काट यो के हो कसरी
मलाई भन्नु मैले रिमेप गरेको छु
रिमेप फेरि हान है दोकानमा चल्दैन दोकान किनभने ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर डज नट एक्जिस्ट यार सिस्टम भयो त केही त मैले लोडेड छैन तिम्रो केही सपोर्टै छैन केही सपोर्ट इनेबल छैन मिल्दैन yeah, okay, so it's a yeah के भयो प्रोटोकन हान्नुपर्छ नि
प्रोटोकन रिक्वायर्ड भन्नु त होइन त्यसको लागि प्रोटोकन हाल्दा पनि सिक्ने
ए तिमीले ऊ हान्दैन हो कि सुरुमा चाहिँ मैले भनेको थिएँ नि त्यो हान्नुपर्छ रिक्वायर्ड फाइल नट फाउन्ड है
पर्मिसन छैन भन्थ्यो त मैले नगराएको
ल यस्तो हो त नि यहाँ त रिक्वायर्ड फाइल नट फाउन्ड क्यान नट स्क्रिप्ट के हो यस्तो पर्ने थियो प्रोटोकन किन आएन बिन ब्यास प्रोटोकन रिक्वायर्ड छ त तिम्रो अर्को सेल हो अरे हो
अनि ब्याच नै हो डिफल्ट चाहिँ जेटेसेट छ ब्याच नै
Secret file not found. Oh no, yeah. भयो त फेरि यो गिटको गर न एकचोटि है फेरि गिटको फेरि गर न यो हटा खै के हो थाहा भएन Okay, I will move on because we don't want to take much time. So why did I use Multipass instead of LXT to do this lab setup? Because Multipass is like what developers usually use for testing, and then so we just use it for testing and then pause it. So it's quite useful for ephemeral jobs like in CI/CD pipelines. Whereas LXT usually is used with Juju, etc. for long running production environments, and then LXT only works in Linux. It uses LXC, but Multipass works on all kind of cross platforms, so it's quite easier to like do things and then do lab testings. So whenever I have to do like testing on some version, then I use Multipass. If you want to know more about that, then you can go in this blog. So it's from VP of Engineering of Canonical. So he's talking about more on VMs on LXT and Multipass. And then customize instances with Multipass and Cloud Init. So Cloud Init is basically automating your first boot configuration. So we have like two things which are very common. One is auto install, another is Cloud Init. So auto install is like first installation configurations. So whenever you like install Ubuntu, you would have seen a GUI with Flutter GUI to install and partition disk. So those kind of things earlier you used to do seeding, but nowadays you use auto install for those kind of things. And then Cloud Init is mostly used after like installation when you want to like do post installation commands and etc. So in this script also what I have done is I have added few things like add repository for landscape and then pro attach token, and like because I have to like pass the server certificate to client also. So all those things are going on inside Cloud Init. So Cloud Init is mostly used for those things. In Cloud also, because in Cloud you will get a base image and then you have to like make lots of different kind of configurations. So we would make a Cloud Init YAML and then we would use it in like base images. So here, if you see -- Cloud Init landscape -server.yaml, so that's how we pass it in Multipass, and then you can also pass it in LXT or any other virtualization tools also. So this was just a bit introduction about the script. Okay, so by now some of you might have like set up the lab. Is anyone's complete? No one's? Yours complete? Okay. Is it like, so how many of yours is running? So how many of yours failed? Lots of failed? Okay, so I will come for 5 minutes in back setup. के भयो सर्भर हो सर्भरमा भिएम केभिएम छैन हुन्न केभिएम भएन त हुँदैन केभिएम त चाहियो विन्डोज छैन विन्डोज म्याक छैन विन्डोज म्याक के हो त्यो म्याकमा मल्टिपास चल्छ त अनि होस्टमै गर न किन भिएममा गरेर भने त मल्टिपास जेमा चल्छ भनेर होस्टमै गर न केभिएम चाहिँ चाहिन्छ क्या बिकज क्युएमई हो नि त मल्टिपास त डब्लुएसमा पनि केभिएम छैन होला केभिएम चाहिँ चाहिन्छ क्या अरू के छ बिकज होस्टमा चाहिँ गर्नु भन्यो भने त मल्टिपास भनेको भिएममा आउँदैन भिएमभित्र के होस्टमै गर न होस्टमा त्यो स्क्रिप्ट हान न विन्डोजमा चल्छ हाइपरवाइजर छ भने चल्छ नि छ हुनुपर्ने हो है मलाई चाहिँ त्यस्तो थाहा भएन तर हुनुपर्ने हो बिकज फेरि हाइपर विन्डोजमा फेरि मल्टिपास स्न्याप चल्छ कि चल्दैन चल्दैन थाहा भएन So some of you guys are facing issues running in virtual machine. So it requires KVM to like set up virtual machines because as you see here, it says Snap Multipass QEMU system 86. So if you don't have KVM, it won't work. So that's like required. So that's why it's not working for some of you guys. Because I only tested it in Ubuntu server, Ubuntu desktop, so I'm not sure if it will work on WSL or like Windows. It will work on Ubuntu machines mostly. Anyways, yeah. Okay, what?
VM भित्र VM त
वो चल्दैन
चल्दैन
VM KVM त चाहिएको सपोर्ट चाहिँ KVM भएन भने त नि भर्चुअल मेसिन बनाउनु मिल्दैन नि होस् न हजुर ल्यान्डस्केप वेटिङ फर ल्यान्डस्केप त्यो त त्यसमा अड्किन्छ बिकज त्यो चाहिँ ल्यान्डस्केप इन्स्टल हुँदै हो न त्यो चाहिँ अड्किन्छ ठिक हो तिम्रो चाहिँ कम्प्लिट भएन ल्याब सेटअप अटोमेटिक कनेक्सन त्यो चाहिँ वेटिङ फर स्न्याप फेरि रन हाने हो र फेरि रन हाने हो र मल्टिपास लिस्ट हान त डब्लुएसएल माग्यो भने डब्लुएसएल पनि थाहा भएन मलाई के हुन्छ गर्दैन मैले चाहिँ यति धेरै इन्भाइरोमेन्टहरू लाने त्यसले गरिनँ उबुन्टु नै गर्छ भनेर जान्छु
त्यो वेबसाइटमा चाहिँ डब्लुएसएल पनि सपोर्ट गर्छ
लिस्ट मात्र नो सच फाइल डिफ्रेन्ट हेरेर त्यो स्न्यापै मिलेन यो पनि डिभेलप गर्नुपर्छ भेटाएन भन्छ त्यो मल्टिपासै सिस्टम स्टाटस स्न्याप डट मल्टिपास डी गरेर स्न्याप डट होला मल्टिपास ट्याप भन मल्टिपास के छ कि स्न्याप डट मल्टिपास डट मल्टिपास टी सर्भिस तिम्रो रनै भएको छैन सेटअप डब्लुएसएलमा मिले छैन खै अब यो डिबग गर्नै पर्छ टाइम लाग्छ होला के हो खै इन्टरफेस कनेक्ट गर्नुपर्ने हो कि स्न्याप कनेक्सन्स मल्टिपास हान त कनेक्सन्स होला स्लट बनेकै छैन स्लटमा पनि कनेक्सन छैन स्न्याप सबै कनेक्सन हुनुपर्ने हो यो कनेक्सनै बनाएको एकचोटि ट्राई गर्नु स्न्याप कनेक्ट मल्टिपास यो सबै कनेक्ट हुनुपर्छ कि यहाँनिर नत्र भने त्यो त्यसले पाएन क्या तिम्रो ऊ चाहिँ एक्सेसै पाएन क्या सबै रिसोर्सेसहरूको यो स्न्याप मल्टिपास इन्स्टलेसन चेन्ज प्रोग्रेस हो अझै स्न्याप हुँदै खाँदै त मल्टिपास इन्स्टलै भएन हुन्छ कि डुइङमै छ त्यो त ए त्यही स्न्याप प्लग कनेक्सन गर्न खोजिरहेको अहिले कनेक्सन भएन अन्त किन अड्क्यो डब्लुएसएलले गर्दा अड्क्यो के गरेर अड्क्यो कि त्यो कनेक्सनमै अड्क्यो कि त्यो So we have some time, so I would like to have at least few of you guys having the application setup. So I will try to debug few of your guys setup. If you can get some machines running, then we can run with this setup. So the later part is not more necessary. So this is main part. So I'm just trying to fix everyone's issue right now. के भयो
आउटै भेटाएन भने कि ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर रन भइरहेको
यस्तो त्यो दुई तिनचोटि चाहिँ हामीमा चाहिँ के कन्ट्रोल यता भयो सबैको फेरि डिफ्रेन्ट ओएस रहेछ मैले उबुन्टुलाई मात्र सोचेँ मल्टिपास ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भरमा ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर छ त भेटाइ भेटाएन अब चाहिँ एक्जिक्युट हामी यहाँ भेटाएपछि त रन त हुनुपर्ने हो रनिङ छ पिङ नि भएन
होस्टमा ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर चाहिँ रिकमेन्डेसन होस्टमा ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर भनेर
त्यो डिफ्रेन्ट भयो क्या क्याट दुईवटा आहा 65 र 6 आहा तपाईँले दुईचोटि रन गर्नुभयो होइन ठिकै छ यो त यो त दुईवटा भएर केही हुँदैन दुईवटा भएर त तर यो रन आइपी त ठिक छ त
माथिको मैले ट्राई गरेको त्यो एउटा
आइपी सेम छैन र भयो केही हुँदैन कहाँ 5 6 छ सेम छ सेम भएर मतलब भएन आइपी त ठिक छ राउटै गएन कि त सेटै बन्यो पोस्ट एकछिन राउटर ए म्याकको के हो राउटर अब थाहा हुँदैन राउटै मिलेन भने त
यताबाट चाहिँ भित्र एसेस गर्न मिलाउनु
र यहाँ ब्रिज चाहिँ बन्नु एलेक्सीको बन्नु पर्ने हो इन्टरभ्यू चाहिँ बने छैन जस्तो छ
एउटा .1 को चाहिँ बनाएको 65.1 को
यो यसको चाहिँ होइन यही 65 नाम त रहेछ तपाईँलाई अप छ र अप छ है एक्टिभै छ त अर्को इन्भाइरोमेन्ट नै रन भएन त स्कुटर भयो एमवाई नै छ त मल्टिपास एलइएनसी
पुरानो चाहिँ हालेर
नेम चाहिँ एउटा ज्यामी किन हाल्नु मैले चाहिँ हाल्छु नि तर त्यो बने छैन यसको मात्र छुट्टै नबनेको हो कि भनेर हो
मैले छुट्टै बनाएर
गर्नुभयो अब आइपुग्नु पऱ्यो के भयो बने त्यही राउटबाट हो त्यो हुने चाहिँ नेटवर्क आइपी बनेपछि त म्याकको लागि चाहिँ हेर्न कति म्याक रहेछ क्या कसैको भयो कसैको बन्यो
यस्तो हुँदैछ
है कहाँ भयो यो भनेको राम्रो तिम्रो म्याकमा भयो है कसैको म्याकमा भयो होइन कसैको म्याकमा भयो फेरि के हो यार अझै मैले म्याकको ट्राई गरेको थिइनँ म त म्याक ध्यानै दिनँ कि उबुन्टु नै हुन्छ भने ध्यान दिनँ धेरैको म्याक रहेछ फेरि सर्भिसको भयो भयो तिम्रो म्याक हो कि कुन म्याक हो कसैको म्याकमा भयो कसैकोमा आइपी नै बनाए होइन के यो त बनेन यो त यो त उ चाहिँ बनेन तिम्रो मल्टिपास बन्यो त्यसपछि लन्च गरेको तिम्रो नि इन्टरफेस बनेन हुन्न यो
हुन्न है
मल्टिपासको इन्टरफेस नै बनेन तिम्रो है
के भर्जन बनाउन नसकेको
होइन कनेक्सनै भएन क्या इन्टरफेसको स्न्याप त
यो मल्टिपासले उता इन्टरनेटको उतापट्टि कनेक्ट के अरे टक गर्नुपर्ने
इन्टरफेस बनाउनुपर्छ के कनेक्सन त हो नि होइन र त्यस्तो हो र
कनेक्सन्स यो एनएनी मिस्टेक भएछ
बनेको त कनेक्सन त फेरि केबिएमसमा छ त यो फेरि रन होइन तिम्रो स्क्रिप्ट यो फेरिरहनु भयो हामीलाई मिल्दैन रहेछ यो कनेक्सन अघि बनाएको थिएन कनेक्सन नभएर चाहिँ पछाडि तल जाँदाखेरि त्यो बनेन क्या त्यो कनेक्सन नभए चाहिँ रिसोर्सेस नभए चाहिँ केभिएममै बन्न मानेन क्या त्यो ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर
ए ओके 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 ओके
इन्टरफेस चाहिँ स्लो भयो क्या म्याकमा चाहिँ इन्टरफेस कनेक्सन स्लो भयो So some of you guys are facing one issue in MacBook. So in Mac, what it's trying to do is it's trying to install the Multipass system, but the interface connection is very slow. So that's why the LXT KVM is like not connected because Snap has to connect the plug. So it's delayed, but then the another command's already running. So it says it does not have any resources to like get those things. So that's why it's failing on some of your MacBooks. What you can do is you can run the script again after like doing Snap connections Multipass. Let me just show it here. So if you run Snap connections Multipass, it should be something like this. So the KVM would be like plug will be connected to slug, but some of you guys are having delay with this one, so that's why it's failing in MacBook for some guys. तपाईँको कनेक्सन्स हेर्नुभएको थियो कसको भएको थियो कनेक्सन छ कनेक्सन एकचोटि हेर्नु त त्यो इन्टरफेसको यसले उता त्यस्तै भएको रहेछ कि स्न्याप कनेक्सन्स मल्टिपास होइन होइन त्यसैमा म्याकबुकमा स्न्याप छैन मिल्छ स्न्याप रहन्छ है म त यस्तो ध्यानै दिएन क्या मल्टिपास म्याकमा कोही मात्र रहेछ स्न्यापहरू चलाइरह किनमा चलिरह नभए उता उबुन्टुमा फेरि केभिएम चल्दैन अनि त्यो झ्याउ हुन्छ कि फेरि केभिएम चाहिन्छ नि त त्यो भर्चुअल मेसिनमा गरेर भएन क्या फेरि कसैको भयो यता कसैको पनि भएन सबै तिम्रो भर्चुअल मेसिन हो सबै भर्चुअल मेसिन होला म्यापमा गयो के भन्यो ठिक छ त्यो यो कनेक्सन चाहिँ हेर है अहिले भएन भिएममा चाहिँ केभिएम सपोर्ट हुँदैन नि त कि त पास थ्रु गर्नुपर्छ अनि मल्टिपासलाई त केभिएम चाहियो नि त भर्चुअल मेसिन बनाउनको लागि अनि त्यही भएर त्यो केभिएमै भएन भने पर्मिसन डिनाइट सिधै दिनुभयो क्या केभिएम ड्यास ओके हान होइन देखाउँछ कि त्यसमा होइन सँगै इन्स्टल गरेर सुट चाहियो केभिएम ड्यास ओके यो डज नट सपोर्ट त्यही भएर हो कि यो हुनैपर्छ कि फेरि भर्चुअल मेसिन बनाउनको लागि लाइक हाइपरभाइजर भने जस्तै विन्डोजमा लिनक्समा चाहिँ केभिएम हुन्छ क्या अनि म्याकमा चाहिँ अर्को हुन्छ त्यस्तै हजुर
केभिएम सेभिएम सबै छ होइन 22 हो तपाईको गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ सर्भर डजन्ट एक्जिस्ट भन्छ
यो पनि त्यही कनेक्सन स्न्यापको कनेक्सन इस्यु हो कि
स्लो भएर हो
होइन नि स्न्याप कनेक्सन यहाँ मिलेन जस्तो लाग्यो कि मल्टिपास इन्स्टल भयो होइन
मल्टिपास इन्स्टल
स्न्याप कनेक्सन्स मल्टिपास केभिएम चाहिँ छ होइन मल्टिपास लिस्ट यो फेरि रन हाने पनि चल्छ यो स्क्रिप्ट है फेरि पछि कुनै कमेन्ट नो सच फाइल डिरेक्ट मल्टिपास चाहिँ मल्टिपास त स्न्याप इन्स्टल गरेपछि त जिम्मै चल्नु पर्ने हो नि त बिकज जेमा पनि भिएम बनाउनु पर्यो होइन ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर हो त्यसले मल्टिपासले भिएमै बनाउँछ कि दुईवटा नोबेल र ज्यामीको तिम्रो चाहिँ आइपी टेबल्स रिलेटेड इस्यु आयो क्या यहाँ चाहिँ छुट्टै इस्यु आयो त आइपी टेबल्स हेल्प मोर आइपी टेबल तिम्रो ल्यापटपमा चाहिँ आइपी टेबल्स समथिङ डिफ्रेन्ट काइन्ड अफ आइपी टेबल्स हाल्यो के हो यो कुन उबुन्टु हो लाइक होइन जिनोम नै हो आइपी टेबल्स चाहिँ भर्जन मानेन कि यसले चाहिँ फेल टु सेट फायरवल रुल भने फायरवल रुल हामीले बनाउनु यहाँ पर्छ यो नोबेलको एसएसएस कि दिनुपर्छ नि त बाहिर एसएस गर्नको लागि त्यो हान्दा भयो मल्टिपास अथेन्टिकेट बिफोर प्रोसेसिङ आइपी टेबल्स चाहिँ तिम्रो बनाउनै दिएन कि किन हो त्यो चाहिँ अब दिएन क्लाइन्ट नट एनेबल दिस इज मल्टिपास प्रोसेडिङ रे भर्खरै गरे त के हो भर्खरै गरे के भने नट सेट दिस मल्टिपास सेट लोकल पास गर्यो हजुर कम्युनिकेट विथ एचटिटिपी लोकल भिडियो स्न्याप मल्टिपास डायल यो चाहिँ स्न्यापडी नै भनेन स्न्यापडी नै चलेन स्न्याप रिफ्रेस स्न्यापडी गरेर
रिफ्रेस गर्ने
सिस्टम सिक्योर रिस्टार्ट गरे नि हुन्छ स्न्यापडी
भर्खर गरेको मल्टिपास अथेन्टिकेट गर्नुपर्ने होला होइन
त्यो स्न्यापडी बनेन भने स्न्यापडीको सकेट क्रिएट नभएर क्या त्यो इरहेको चाहिँ बिकज सबै कुरा स्न्यापडीबाटै जान्छ क्या
ओके ल्यान्डस्केप
भयो ल ठिक छ
के भएको रहेछ भन्दाखेरि
एप्समा त्यही अब पर्मिसन मागेन आइपिटिओसमा युजरलाई रहन्छ कि एक्सेस
मेरो
के भयो के भने सिस्टम हेज बिन बुटेड विथ सिस्टम
Has not been booted with system.
कनेक्ट टु बस सिस्टम के रे ए सिस्टम नि होइन यो
यो WSL हो
डब्लुएसएल त थाहा भएन मलाई मैले गरेँ होइन डब्लुएसएल थाहा भएन मलाई चल्यो नि तिम्रो तिम्रो चल्यो चल्दैछ नि ल ठिक छ तिम्रो भयो So most of the machines are now like ready. So I will wait like more 10 minutes and then we can continue because we have some time. Later part won't take much time. Till then I can like explain the code to the ones who has already completed the setup. So the ones who have not completed, you can continue. Come on, let's go. Okay, so basically why I wanted to do lab setup.ss is I didn't want all of you to run like one command again and again and it would create a typo and then it will be harder. So I thought it will be easier, but then I didn't expect everyone to have different kind of OSs and all, WSL and Mac, etc. So sorry for that. So basically what this lab setup is doing is, first obviously it takes for Pro token and then it tries to install Multipass if it's not there. As I said, Multipass is required to create VMs in our lab setup for landscape server and landscape client. Basically it's just normal things, and then we have like cloud init YAML here. So here it's doing package update, apt update, basically package update, apt upgrade. Software properties common is required for apt repository. So we need to add PPA of landscape because by default in main archive the landscape version is very small because of SRE. So SRE process takes lots of time. So SRE, if you don't know, it's stable release update. So it takes lots of time to like update packages in main repository. So that's why landscape team uses PPA. So I just added that PPA here and then apt update, and then apt get install landscape server quick start. So landscape server quick start does a like quick spin of landscape server to test. After that, what I did is I created a Multipass instance for landscape server. So the step is very easy. Multipass launch novel, so it will create a novel for you. You don't need anything else. So if you just want to test something in your like 24 machine, let's say, you can just do this command only, and then it will spin a Multipass novel for you. And after that, you can do Multipass cell name to like log in into that machine and then do your things. So it's that easy to like run VMs in Multipass. So here we are, because it's a server, we like bumped its resources a bit, CPU 4, memory 60, disk 450. We will talk later about why I kept such a high disk for it, and then cloud init as I said. After that, I took the IP, that's not needed. So you might have seen this, waiting for landscape server to be ready continuously. So what my thought behind this was, I didn't want landscape client to run before landscape server was already booted. So that's why I like executed a command that checks if landscape server is installed or not based on dbkz. So that's why you might have like seen this repeatedly in your output. After landscape server is running, you can access it at this path. And then similarly for client, we have package update, software properties common. We like enable PPA for client, and then this line. So if you don't know, this is for DNS resolution, because client won't know about landscape server to IP resolution. So we had to like manually give that thing in etc host. And then I added the token, true attach, true token, no auto enable. No auto enable is like, I don't want any services to be enabled by default. I can only control what services I want. On default, it will enable ESM repositories but then it will take some time. So to cut down the time it takes, I just disable that also. And then install landscape client. After that, there's a long OpenSSL command. So basically what this command is doing is, we have Apache server running in landscape server, and then it has self-signed certificate for the server, but then client won't know about that thing, so client has to get that public key. So that's why this command generates a public key, and then it keeps it at this directory in this file. I can just show you this command manually also. It's quite interesting command. I use this lots of time in debugging server issues. So what I do is echo OpenSSL as client landscape server 443 dev null. Do I have list landscape server? Okay, I'm just trying to spin up the landscape server. So for worst case, I already had set up in my machine. So if anyone can't work, then I will at least show you guys. So we have that at least. Okay, it's in starting. Okay. So yeah. So this command basically takes everything from the other web server. Whenever we have to debug cases where certificates are expired or anything, or let's say root certificate is not present, so this command is quite handy to look into those things. And then after adding OpenSSL again to filter out only the public key, so I get this certificate. So that's basically what that command is doing if it's long for you. Okay, so after that we have landscape config command. So this command registers landscape client to landscape server. Here we give counter title, and then account name is standalone, so that's default. So that's always standalone. Account name is different when it's SaaS. For SaaS users, account alone is different, but for self-hosted, it's always standalone. We have URL. URL has to have a message system, so that's necessary. And we have ping URL, which is HTTP. So most of the people miss this. So some create HTTPS here. It has to be HTTP. And then that certificate, public key of landscape server. So that's it for registering landscape clients. After that, I spawn 2 landscape client machines, and then lab setup is complete. So basically, that's the thing it's trying to do on the script. So if you have already completed the setup, if you go to the browser and then just where is it? Go to landscape server, you would get a UI. It will ask you to register like this, and then you can log in and register to that thing. We will talk about this API credentials later. But how many of you have been to this page right now? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyone from backside to this page? No? के भयो ब्याकको चाहिँ अझै रन भइरहेन अझै हुँदैन कति गाना हजुर त्यही मैले त्यो अफलाइन सेटअप गरेको थिएँ त्यो अफलाइन झन् गाह्रो हुने भयो अब यस्तो धेरै झन्झगल तिमीहरूको भयो के भयो कहाँ अड्क्यो
बहिनीको पनि त्यही डाउनलोड
भइरहेछ अझै नि उसो कुरामा एकछिन अझै Okay, for some of you it's still installing because of slow network. So let's just wait few minutes. Till then I will try to explain other things also. Okay, so we will come back to this later after some of you guys complete the installation. But let's talk about major challenge when systems is air-gapped. So as I believe the major challenge in Ubuntu systems is package management, because APT, as you know, there's lots of dependency conflict, there's lots of CVs, and then you need to fix CVs, you need to get right package for right CV fixes, because just because there's a CV, it does not mean it is affected for your system. So you need to know which package, which CV is affected in which versions, and then which package has those CV fixes. So that's main thing. But then in machines which is connected to internet, it's easy. Unattended upgrade would work, or you could just do APT upgrade. But when it's air-gapped, normally people would copy over the dev packages. If they know what they are doing, they would copy over the packages, or they will create their own repositories, which we will do later. So that's why I think package management is major challenge in air-gapped environment. So we will be talking a bit more about this thing now. Okay, so APT. So you all know this song, APT, APT. I can't sing, sorry. So we will be talking a bit about APT. Yeah, so everyone has done APT update. Everyone does APT update whenever they spin up Ubuntu machines, even if they don't need it. But then generally they don't know what's going on inside APT. So just a brief introduction to APT. So how APT works is in etc apt sources.list or .t, there's a list of entries of APT sources where the packages are hosted. So when you run apt update, it downloads all those package index from that directory, and then it keeps those lists on var lib apt lists. And then when you do apt show, you can see all those packages and then where they are hosted, and then what dependency they have, what configs they have, everything you can see there. And then apt install chooses the correct candidate for the installation. Candidate, when you do apt cache policy, so package name, you will get lots of versions there, because you can have packages in different apt sources, so there will be more than one package version. So apt needs to get correct version. So it does so based on apt preferences. Some of you might heard about apt pinning. It's just you pin the sources, apt sources, and then you give the priority, so that if there's a package in this apt source, then it will be given priority over other package source. And then it has to resolve conflicts and dependencies, because if I try to install one thing, I need to make sure that everything that comes with it also get installed. And at last, apt is also using dpkg install. So we run apt as a wrapper for dpkg. In final form, apt is running dpkg install, and then dpkg does post installation, pre-installation, etc. So we won't go more on that. I can show a brief introduction to this in my terminal actually. So if we go to etc apt sources.list, you would see this nowadays. In XAML you would see something else here, but in Novel you would see this. This is because recently, since Novel, the apt sources format was changed to Dev, I think it's 800 something, I don't know exactly. So the format was changed, so now all the sources are inside sources.list.d, and by default we have Ubuntu sources here. So yeah, so earlier if you notice, you would have something like this. So you would have a one-liner, so you would have dev here, and then architecture, and this will be the apt source entry, and then we would have mirror suits here, and then we would have components. We will talk more about what each of these components mean later. So this was older legacy apt sources entry format, but now it's more of this for easier reading. So it's quite more verbose, I would say, because it says types, URIs, suits, components, signed by. So these are later required when we have to mirror repositories. So the format is quite changed now. And then if we go to var lib apt archives, apt can't list, I think list. Yeah, so this has all those lists of apt sources and then their informations. So if I go to one of these, let's go to here. Yeah, so here you see there's a package live near NVIDIA, and then we see lots of information here, and we also see it depends on this package, and it's in this directory, and its signature is this, etc., etc. For others also there's lots of these things. So apt uses this information to gather which things I need to install. So that's basically how apt works in general. And then Debian repository structure. So most of the people get confused with this one. It's a very important thing to know while you are running air-gapped environments, because you have to mirror repositories in your own systems. So you would need to know what exactly I want to mirror and where exactly my package is installed. So when you go to archive.ubuntu.com, so the root would be origin Ubuntu, and inside that you would have disks and you would have pools, and inside disk you would have stable, bionic, and there's various components. Let's just see in one of the archive directly. Let's go to here. archive.ubuntu.com. Yeah, so this is Ubuntu, this is like distribution, we call it distribution. Basically in general we know like Novel, Xami, Focal as distribution, but in repository format we call like the root distribution. So that's a bit confusing, but don't get confused with that. And then we would have disks. So dist is the one that will host your apt lists that we showed earlier. So these things are inside disks, and pool is the one that will have actual dev packages. So if I go inside pool, we will have main here. So main, multiverse, restricted universe, these are called components. If you see here, yeah, components, main, universe, etc., etc. So when earlier I was talking about LTS only provides support for 5 years for main and 5 years extra if it is attached to Pro, what I meant by that is this main. So if packages are inside this main, it gets like 10 years of support. If packages are in universe, they never get support if Pro is not enabled. If Pro is enabled, it will get like 5 years of support. So that's like a major impact of having Pro. So if inside we go inside main and then we go inside A, so this is like alphabetical order for packages. If you go inside here, then you will see the actual dev packages. And similarly, if we go inside disks, so these are what we call these is mirror suits. We call it suits. If you see here, cd tc apt sources.list cat ubuntu sources. Yeah, so you see here suits. So these things are called suits. So the first part is series. We call this series, and second part is pocket. So it's like a combination of series and pocket. And then components, as I said, main, restricted, universe, multiverse, it can be anything. So if you go to binary backports, let's say, you would get release, in release, and then again we have components. If we go inside components, we would have like architecture-based different types of things. So this would host AMD only, this would host i386 only, and then other things would be in other things. So if you have seen this, you would have noticed there's no ARM. So ARM is not inside Ubuntu archive.com, it's inside ports.ubuntu.com. So it's in different repository. So this is just for AMD and i386. So let's go inside binary AMD 64. So in here it actually has those packages, and if I click inside this one, then I would have all those packages inside this actual repository. So if a customer says he can't find a specific version for a package, I would come here and then see if that package is in this directory. So that's overall how repositories work. So we will need that later on. Yeah, that's basically what's going on in this a bit of messy graph. One thing I didn't mention is this mirror key. So there are two kinds of GPG key in repositories. So one that is used to sign those packages, and one that we use to sign those packages when we like mirror those packages. So when we mirror those packages, we have to like sign it with our own mirror. By default, they have their own GPG key, and then that's like generic, and every Ubuntu system would have those GPG key. So you don't have to install those GPG key. But then since you are going to repository, you are going to mirror a repository, your GPG key has to be installed on all those clients. So that's one thing we need to note for later on. Okay, so if the earlier lab setup was complete, we could follow on this setup. So for those who have already completed earlier setup, they can like run mirror setup.ss inside inside the Xami, client Xami. What I mean by that is you can run multipass cell client Xami. Then you would go inside that cell for client Xami. So this is just for the ones that have completed the setup. If you have not completed the setup, then I'm sorry. I will now go through a demo also because time is a bit constricted. So if you go inside here, first you need to like copy that file, multipass transfer. So the file would be at UbuCon for me mirror setup.assets client Xami. So this is the command to transfer that mirrors. You can just copy it also after you have done like multipass cell, but if you don't want to like copy it, you can run this command. And after this I will run multipass cell. So to copy this to client Xami, and then we can run that mirror. That script is going to like mirror repository by itself. There's lots of landscape API things happening there, so that's why it's also another kind of script there. So just do this, and then for whoever it's complete, do this and then let me know. Don't run that script because we need to like generate the API credentials. We have not done that. ल्याब सेटअप झ्याउ छ कि त्यो के भयो तिमी त कहाँ छौ
इन्टरनेट नै नभएर
मेरो गलत भएको थियो यो 3टा सर्भर रहेछ मेरो पुरै ह्याङ बनाइदियो त्यो भएर मैले
तिम्रो कति छ रहेछ
8 GB
ए मैले 4 GB मा त देखेँ नि त एसएलमा त पोर्ट्स भन्ने आर्केटमा त्यो छुट्टी राख्छ कि तिम्रो आर्किटेक्चर खै किन Has anyone done this? Done? Okay. So now let's create API credentials because if you go to UI, I will go a bit on UI now since some of you guys have already done it. So if you go to landscape server, there should be a landscape server running now in your browser. After you have logged in, obviously, you can click on your user account in right side. If you click on your user account, it will give you this kind of UI. Here you can regenerate API credentials. So we need to do this. होइन एउटा मात्र एकचोटि गरेपछि त सर्भरमा हुने कुरा. So the mirror script is going to be run from Xami client, but then it can be run from anywhere because it's a landscape API server API. So I'm just running it from Xami because I don't want you guys to install it in host. So you could just be running it from landscape server also. Yeah. It's just a one-time run and then it will create. We could do the same thing from UI also, but command line is a bit cool. And then the UI feature is recent, so it has some bugs also.
सर्भिसहरु स्टार्ट हुन टाइम लाग्छ
इन्स्टल गर्ने टाइम लाग्छ. So if you have done this, then what I want you guys to do is inside your setup. So now if you try to run this setup, it will say landscape API key is required, landscape API secret is required. So landscape API key is this key and landscape secret key is this key. So I want you to run those things also now. Just put these things on those argument and then it should be good to go. So you would do something like API key would be his, secret key would be this. So once you have done this, then it will install landscape API and do a bunch of things. So has anyone done this?
Landscape API is not available or stable for this architecture.
आम भयो फेरि
अनि आम हो नि त मेरो M1 हो नि त.
ल्यान्डस्केप एपिआई बनाएन रे यसमा बनाउनु पर्ने हो त. इज नट एभाइलेबल स्टेबलमा छैन भने हो कि केही हुँदैन.
के गर्ने त अब
यस्तो गर्ने स्न्याप इन्स्टल ल्यान्डस्केप एपिआई स्टेबलमा नहाल्ने क्यान्डिडेटमा हाल्ने एजमा चाहिँ होला क्या
भनेको यो स्क्रिप्टले पनि इभेन्चुली यही गर्छ हो
स्क्रिप्टले चाहिँ च्यानल स्टेबल खोज्छ अरे आममा चाहिँ अब उसमा छैन होला नि त के हो त नि कस्तो ल्यान्डस्केप छैन र मलाई थाहा थिएन यस्तो त ल स्न्याप नै छैन ल्यान्डस्केप चाहिँ त्यही कस्तो झ्याउ नि त कसो स्न्यापै बनाएको होइन नि त फेरि आमको लागि हुनुपर्ने हो त यार एकछिनमा हेर्छु है छैन छैन
अब मैले गाह्रो मिलेन
कस्तो म्याकबुकमा रहन्छ त युआईबाट गर्ने म्याकबुकमा आमको लागि स्न्यापै रहन्छ ल्यान्डस्केप युआईबाट गर्ने रहेछ तर कस्तो म्याकमा फेरि रहन्छ मैले हेर्दै हेरिन्छ त हजुर हजुर
मेरो यस्तो आइरहेको छ होइन आइपी एड्रेस गर्दा नि यो आउँछ
हजुर
यता फेरि
मेरोमा भन्ने जस्तो आइरहेको छ
यस्तो अर्को आइरहेको छ
है यो चाहिँ यस्तो हो तपाईँ चाहिँ यो चाहिँ नयाँ ड्यासबोर्ड हो त म जान्छु त्यतिखेर चाहिँ यो चाहिँ क्लासिक ड्यासबोर्ड हो क्या यो चाहिँ नयाँ ड्यासबोर्ड हो
अनि त्यो सेटिङ्समा पनि भेट्दैन
के एपिआई यहाँ छ यहाँ जानु अनि त्यसपछि रिजेनेरेट गर्नु त्यो चाहिँ न्यू ड्यासबोर्ड हो क्या यो चाहिँ
मैले चलाएर चाहिँ न्यू ड्यास
न्यू ड्यासबोर्ड त्यो नयाँ बनेको यो चाहिँ क्लासिक हो यो चाहिँ स्टेबल त्यसमा सजिलो छ बिकज त्यसमा धेरै फिचर पनि छ यसमा लाइक रेपोजिटरी बनाउने कुरा चाहिँ यसमा छैन त्यसमा छ
पेन्डिङहरूलाई चाहिँ अथराइज नगरिकनै काम गर्ने आफै यसलाई चाहिँ
पेन्डिङ क्लिक गर्ने अथराइज गर्ने
यो नभए पनि यो काम चाहिँ भइरहेको छ मिरर गर्नेहरूलाई
मिरर गर्ने काम चाहिँ भयो किन ल्याङ्ग्वेज सर्भरमा हुने त्यो काम त एपिआई कल त जहाँबाट गए पनि भयो
अहिले सुन्नु न जस्तो मेरोमा अघि टाइम आउट भएर ज्यामी चाहिँ इन्स्टल भएन नोभल भएको थियो
हुन्छ।
नोभलबाटै डाइरेक्ट चलाएँ
हुन्छ 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 जेमा चलाउनु हुन्छ
जुन सर्भरमा चलाएँ तिनतिर
मैले चाहिँ डिफ्रेन्ट बनाऊँ सेक्युरिटी डिफ्रेन्ट देखिन्छ भन्ने मात्र गएको थिएँ जे गरे पनि हुन्छ
म्यानेजमेन्ट सर्भरको रोल चाहिँ के हो यसलाई चाहिँ अपडेट गर्नु पर्दैन
हजुर
म्यानेजमेन्ट सर्भरलाई चाहिँ अपडेट गर्नु
म्यानेजमेन्ट सर्भर भनेको चाहिँ ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर हो क्या यसको कन्टेक्समा चाहिँ मिरर सर्भर चाहिँ ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर हुनै पाउँछ
यो चाहिँ हाम्रो प्राइभेट नेटवर्क हो
यो चाहिँ प्राइभेट टोटल प्राइभेट हो यो चाहिँ म्यानेजमेन्ट तिम्रो ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर हुनै पायो मिरर सर्भर यसैमा हुनै पायो यो चाहिँ डकुमेन्टेसनको उ थियो के अरे म्यानेजमेन्ट सर्भर बेसिकली ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर बुझ्दैन
मैले चाहिँ कसरी बुझिरहेको छु भनेपछि यसलाई त्यो प्राइभेट नेटवर्क भयो होइन अब ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर चाहिँ मैले यसलाई बाहिरबाट चाहिँ बुझिरहेको छु कि बाहिर ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर
होइन ल्यान्डस्केप पनि भित्र राख्ने प्राइभेट बाहिर राख्नै पाइन्छ एउटा ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर बाहिर राख्छु एउटा भित्र राख्छु अनि बाहिरकोले चाहिँ पब्लिकसँग कनेक्सन गर्छ भित्रकोले चाहिँ यसरी सर्भ गर्छु भन्ने पनि पाइन्छ
भित्र ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर राख्ने हो भने भित्र मात्र ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भर राख्ने हो भने त्यसलाई कसरी अपडेट गर्ने त
ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भरलाई ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भरलाई
अपडेट गर्ने नेसेसिटी हुन्छ कि हुँदैन
ल्यान्डस्केप सर्भरलाई पनि त फेरि मिरर सर्भरहरूको दिन मिल्यो नि त
किन मिल्यो त्यसरी गर्ने
फर्स्टमा त अब कुनै न कुनै तरिकाले पब्लिक रिपोजिटरी ल्याउनै पऱ्यो होइन त ल्याउनै पऱ्यो ल्याएपछि यही सोर्स चाहिँ यसलाई दिन मिल्छ क्या त्यो आफूले दिन मिल्यो त्यो चाहिँ डकुमेन्टेसनको ब्लक चिप्टाएको क्या Okay, so one thing MacBook users can't follow because they don't have landscape API in ARM64. Sorry for that. So I just figured out that ARM64 release is not vision for landscape API. So it's possible from UI to do that, but then it will be more hassle right now to do from UI. For AMD users, it's already done there. The time is quite constricted, so I will just continue. Okay, so yeah, so I talked a bit about repository and then repository mirroring. So what basically I meant by repository mirroring is, as I said, packages are hosted somewhere in an archive. If we want our internal networks to have those packages, we need to host it somewhere, right? Either you could just copy it, but that will be very manual and it won't be like automation friendly. What we instead do is we like host our own APT archives, like Ubuntu does. So here, as you see, public repository is archive.ubuntu.com. one way or another, we need at least somehow we need to have those public repository contents. And then management server is landscape server. So these mirror servers could be inside management server. It is not required that they are separated, but you can separate it. It was basically in docs. This photo was in docs, so I just copied it here. And then these clients are node, actual node that clients have. And then management server will manage these clients. And then it will also provide those repository profiles to those clients. We will look into that later a bit more. So if you have run this script, basically it's doing create distribution Ubuntu. As I said earlier, distribution is the root. And then it's trying to create a series XAMI. XAMI has Ubuntu as distribution. And then it's creating a pockets of backports. So I created only backports here because backports is like very less disk uses. It has low number of packages. If we use like a release or updates or security, it will be very high number of packages. And then it will consume lots of disk memory, disk uses. So instead of that, for testing, I just use pockets backports. You can use all kinds of pockets there. So pockets are updates, security, release. Release is by default. And then we have components main. I just use main. You could use restricted, universe, etc. also. So this is for just testing only. We have architecture. We have ZPG key. So ZPG key is what I meant by the key that we need to sign it. Right now you didn't create your ZPG key, but it was already done by the script. If you want to see, you can see inside that script. It's creating a ZPG key already there. And then we need to also mention what mirror URI we need to like give it. So once this is done, it will create an archive locally inside. You can see this inside CD, varlib, landscape repository, standalone, Ubuntu. So it will be inside this. As you see here, you can see dist is here, pool is here. If you go inside this, you will see XAMI backwards. So it's stored inside this, and then the landscape server hosts this. So you can also host this somewhere else, but landscape server does that thing also for you. So basically that's what sync mirror pocket is doing here. So all these things are running inside this mirror script setup, if you do that. And here I have mentioned some of the available tools also. Landscape is not the only solution here. So just for mirror repository, Web Pro is available. That is used by landscape in backend. We also have apt offline. We also have apt, we also have apt mirror, dev mirror, apt cache, ng. So this is not a repository mirror. It just caches the packages that are frequently used in the proxy. So it's not a mirror, but it's some kind of similar to it. So if you have done this, then you go to UI. If you go to UI now, there's a new web portal section here. So this is classic dashboard. Landscape have two kind of dashboards. This is classic legacy. It's an older dashboard, and then there's a new web portal. If you click on this new web portal, you will go inside new web portal. So some features are only available in new web portal. So that's why we have to go inside this portal. And then here in left side, if you go there, you will see repositories. In repositories, you can see mirrors. If you click on mirrors, you will see this kind of UI. So you could also do same thing from UI if you are not familiar with CLI for MacBook users, for example. But it's a bit difficult to do from UI because you have to like mention all these things, and it's quite tedious. So you can do it from here. As you see, all those options are available here. It's possible, by the way. And then as you see here, backports is a pocket, it's a mirror mode, and then last sync, contents 194 packages. So it's saying there were 194 packages. You could resync. By default, it does not resync. So like every now and then you have to resync the packages so that the local packages repositories is updated. So that's the UI of landscape repository. And after that, let's go to the next section. So that was basically lab setup. It would have been more smoother. I'm sorry for that. So some of the security and compliance major features that landscape has are repository profiles. Landscape manage apt process, apt sources. What I mean by this is we created repository mirrors, but somehow we need all our clients to use that apt sources, right? So what landscape provides is it provides a repository profiling feature. So if you go inside UI, and then if you go to this profile section, there's a profile section. You can go inside, not here, in new UI. Profiles, yeah. So there's a repository profile, And I have already created a repository profile for Xami backwards, but you could create your own. And I would add repository profile, and I would add a pocket here. I only have this pocket right now, so I would click on this. I can also add my own apt sources manually. I don't need to just have my own mirrors. Let's say I need to host a Microsoft VS Code repository. I could do that from here also. Add repository profile. So this is just for like public one-liner apt sources. This is majorly for the mirrors that we had already. And then I will add it here. So once I have like created repository profiles needs to be like tagged with some tags, and after it's like added with some tags, we will create a activity, and that activity will create an apply repository profile. Basically what it does is if I go inside my client Xami, etc apt sources.list, here you see it says landscape manages repositories for computers. Original content of sources.list can be found in sources.list.save. So if you create repository profiles with that pockets, landscape will only manage your apt sources. So where this is useful is lots of customers uses dead snicks PPA from Python, and then they break the systems. So if you don't want your customers to break your systems, you can force them to use the apt sources that you manage, and then they can't like use packages from third-party clients or the other package that breaks the system. So it would mean that all the systems will be consistent with same packages from same apt sources. So that's basically the use case of apt sources. Sources.list.d, and here we will have landscape, Xami, backwards profile. So as you see here, the URL now is landscape server's URL. So it's not archive.ubuntu.com. So it's the one that we created. So that's how it's managing apt sources also now. So that was about repository profiles. And then about package profiles. So you might have heard about meta packages. Meta packages, let's say the most common example is Ubuntu desktop. If I go here and say apt-cache policy Ubuntu desktop, oh, I don't have apt sources here, sorry. apt-cache policy Ubuntu desktop. apt Yeah, so Ubuntu desktop is a meta package. What I mean by meta package is it's not a package in its own, like it does not have libraries or files. It manages other packages. So when you install Ubuntu desktop, you are not actually installing Ubuntu desktop. You are installing this kind of other packages. So these are the packages that Ubuntu desktop installs, and then here you have Ubuntu desktop minimal and other things. So that's what meta package means. So basically where meta packages are useful is, let's say you have lots of client machines. You want some specific package to be installed in some specific version. Then what I would do is, I would go inside package profiles, and then I already have a test meta package created. Here what I have done is, I have created a package constraint which depends on NetTools and equals to this version. So now if I install this meta package, it will install NetTools in this version specifically. And then I also can do something else. I also can create conflicts. So let's say I want to make sure one package with one specific version should not be present in my system. Then I can use conflicts also. So conflicts and depends is like a most common use cases. You can also like have whole CSV list exported from one system and then import it and then make all systems compliant with that same system. So it basically is for package consistency again in multiple client machines. And then we have upgrade profiles. So upgrade profile is quite important in the sense that it provides fixes that I talked earlier. So if you go to packages section here, we have computers, and in computers we have client novel. We have packages here. Yeah. So here we would get all the packages, and then it will say one computer has security upgrades to install, one computer has upgrade to install. So these are not from internet. It has its own USN DB. USN is like Ubuntu Security Notice. Ubuntu creates its own JSON file where it keeps all the packages, all the CVs that needs to be fixed and which specific version that needs to be fixed. So it's going to check with that file and then it will flag all those packages which are in my client machine that needs to be fixed. So currently it's saying NetTools regression is there and then you need to fix this and then it's affected in one computer and then I can fix it from here also. So in landscape server, if my client is connected, the client does not need to be connected anywhere else. Landscape server will manage security, fixes, CVs, etc. itself. And we can also make this like recurring. Like let's say I want to fix all the objects in Friday. Then I can create an object profile. I can create an object profile here. In profile section, we have object profiles. And if you add an object profile, you can have only security objects, auto removal package. So these are options and which dates you want these objects to be done. So this features is also available. So this is like main use case after repository mirroring, because once you have mirrored the repository internally, you would just need to connect clients and then create upgrade profile, and then it will manage the security vulnerabilities automatically. But one catch is you need to have those USNTV manually downloaded to landscape server, because landscape server would also not be connected to internet. So at least those USNTV needs to be manually dropped into the landscape server. Once that is done, then landscape server will maintain the security objects. Another thing is security profiles. So this is like a recently added thing, so it's not available in old version. It's a new version. In new version, if I go to security profiles, here I can see, I can create a add security profile, and then I will just create a test. Next, so here I can select a base model. So I can select CIS level 1, CIS level 1 for server, workstation is desktop, level 2, DISA stick. So these are all policies that can be manually added, or you can also add your own policies. So someone was talking about Wazoo and then providing their own fixed policies. Similar thing you can do here also. And then you can also have more like audit only. So audit only will only check if that CIS policy is applied or not. Fix and audit will fix also, and then audit also for creating reports. So that's required for compliance reporting. And then it will restart also. So there are 3 modes for this. So CIS profile and etc. Everything is done by landscape. And then you will also be monitoring all those things in here, like which computers, 2 instances, passed, failed, etc. I didn't run this, so it's just 0 here. So that's another feature landscape has. And then external authentication. So in enterprise, customers won't have local authentication. Normally they try to use AD or OIDC or SSO. So that's also another feature that landscape has. And then it also has RBAC, access group, permissions, role controls for users. So some users can be specified, can be like constricted to some specific users or some specific machines. So that's another thing it has. So all these features, if you use like nicely, it will be very helpful for managing systems in air-gapped environments. Sorry, I could not show much demo about these things because we took lots of time in lab setup. But then you can tinker around and then later on install yourself also and then look around. It's quite beginner friendly. And if you go to the landscape documentation, it's very, very beginner friendly. So everything is like given clearly there. So you can just follow documentation also. So if you have any problem with this. Other features are remote script execution. So it also allows creating scripts and then sending those scripts to client machines. You can also create different snapshots of scripts. You can create you can use API to automate those scripts also. We have like API we just use legacy REST API to like mirror repositories from XAML, from client XAML. You could use those also to do all kinds of things. So everything that can be done from UI can be done from REST API also. And then we also have graphs to like create basic monitoring things. It's not very, very like complex. So it just gives basic things with the scripting. You can script and then it will give and gather output and then create graphs. You can create alerts as in like your computer has security update, you need to fix it. So those kind of alerts can be created and then it will be provided in your mail. Here it's alert section. So this kind of alerts are there, like pending computers alerts, package upgrade available, package rebooter alert, etc. ESM disable alert. So those alerts are also available. So yeah, at last, why landscape? Because it has offline installation. It's very easy to set up in offline installation. It is self-hosted. You don't need to like pay for SaaS. You can install it in your bare metal or VM machines, or it's also like FIPS supported. So you can like harden your landscape server also, and then it is scalable with Juju. So it does not need to be just quick start like I showed here. You can like separate different components in different machines. You can have database server in one side, you can have HA proxy in another side. HA proxy is basically a load balancer. You can have application UI in other side. So all those things can be done. The main feature that I like about this is repository management, as I said, as I focused mainly on that. And it provides security upgrades in offline environments, which is like major like requirement and then tedious tasks to do for lots of computers. It provides compliance audits, as I showed in USG and CIS level, etc., etc. It has RBAC and it has API endpoints, etc. So yeah, those all things make landscape very useful because it has lots of features. It's not very heavy, it's not very slow. If used in right way, it's very useful for like managing systems in air-gapped and in not air-gapped also. It's not necessarily required to be air-gapped. Yeah, that was it, and the time is almost complete. We just have 1 minute, so yeah, I guess now we can look for questions. That will be it from my side. Thanks. So if you have any questions, you can ask, because the summit is also completed, I think, so we can talk more after the session also. Yeah. Sorry? What was the question? For which user?
The landscape, this landscape thing, like is it available only for the pro or?
So as I said, landscape registration needs a license. Earlier it used to be like a legacy license that you could get free seats, like 10 seats, but now it requires pro, and then you get like free pro tokens.
That's for personal
Yeah.
token, right?
For enterprise you need to buy.
For enterprise, I need to buy
Yeah.
landscape.
For enterprise you need to buy.
Even if I self-host landscape, I can only manage up to 5.
Yeah, you can get 5 for self-hosted things. So for home labs, 5.